Hey Keisha, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me today?
Yeah, clearly.
Oh, good.
Sorry about that. What happened yesterday?
I don't know. I've been having issues with Zoom lately, so hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, yeah, that's it's always a struggle when stuff like that happens and you have no idea why. In my case, I'm just like, I don't know.
Right. Right.
Just kind of switch to my phone or switch to my iPad or do something. I don't know.
True.
You doing okay?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I have got my stuff going. I'm gonna record my video for my Pop Shop Live commercial so I can do that next week. So I'm excited about that. They've been really helpful in helping me to get it put together.
Wow.
So I'm we're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, give us some tries. It's a new thing, so it'll take a while and you know, let me know. I sign up on that thing, but let me know when you're going live and I'll be sure to watch it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and you can also you can record it, I think. Like on your phone, if you have like there's a record button, I think you can record it. So you can look at it later if you want.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. I think I will do it to see how the first one went
Yeah.
and go from there.
I noticed they don't put the recordings online, so you can't really see it after the show. I've noticed, so that's something to keep in mind.
And so good to know. Good to know.
Hey Taylor, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. We're a little slow starting here today, it looks like. I'm going to make you the co-host, which will give you the controls.
Okay.
So you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, we're prepping for fourth quarter. So
Yeah, I so appreciate you doing this. I know it's a crazy time um, for you, and we can't thank you enough for making the effort. Really appreciate it.
yeah.
Someone's at the front door. All right. So I know that people will be coming as we go, but just in the interest of time, uh, Taylor, we'll go ahead and I'm going to introduce you. And um, so to those of you who don't know Taylor, Taylor is I consider one of the superstars of Accelerate Rural and many other venues. She was in our first cohort and has, I think, won every business plan competition that there is in the Greenville area and has successfully built up her business, Simple and Sentimental, where they have lots of employees. They own their own building, doing business all over the world with the military and lots more. And I haven't caught up with her in a while, so I'm hoping to hear what's new and what's going on. And so I'm gonna hand it off to my friend Taylor Walden.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really happy to be back. Like Dennis said, I was part of the original Accelerate Rule Accelerator program, and it was a great program. So I'm really excited that you guys are here. Um, Um, but yeah, so my name is Taylor. I live in Winterville. I attended ECU with my husband, so that's kind of how we got involved with Accelerate Rule and interest in Greenville. We're both originally from Winston-Salem, and we moved here for college. I started Simple and Sentimental in my college dorm room as a freshman. So in the fall of 2016, I entered ECU as a freshman. I was originally majoring in interior design because I really have a knack for design, and especially like in the home. I still do that for fun. But spoiler alert, I changed my major and did something completely different. Um, so anyway, I was a freshman and I had a lot of time in between my classes. So I would teach myself how to do like calligraphy and hand lettering. And it was something that I did for fun. And as time went on, I started I might actually be able, I might be able to share my screen because actually I just made a PowerPoint that has like photos from over the years, and it's really cool to look at for another project. So let me see if I can pull that up really quick. Um, Dennis, are you able to admit people as well? I want to make sure I
Yes,
don't miss
I'm,
anyone.
I'm, I'm doing it.
Okay.
I'm trying to pay attention.
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can get this going. Again, this is for I'm doing another talk thing on Saturday, but I had made these pictures for that. So let's see. Okay. All right, I'm gonna try to share my screen.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Yay.
Yeah, did it work?
Yeah,
All right, sweet. All right, I'm gonna try to make it bigger if I can.
that looks great.
Can y'all see it?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay, so this was fall 2016. These were actually some of the first things that I made. So I would practice my hand lettering, and I made these little bookmarks, and I really did it for practice, but I thought, like, I have so many of these little like artwork pieces. I put a little basket outside of my dorm room, and I would put all of the things that I would use to practice in, and people would pick them up and were like, they would keep them. They would use the bookmark. I would make like little prints, or maybe like this big, they'd hang it on their wall, things like that. And as time went on, I had people reach out and they're like, oh my gosh, these are so pretty. Can you make me something for a gift for somebody else? So I started making this kind of stuff. And I had like maybe 5 people that I knew personally who asked me to make something like that. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I could sell these on Etsy and like make some money on the side and not have to get a job in college. Well, I listed this kind of stuff on Etsy and none of it sold. No one bought anything. I didn't have any kind of business expertise or anything, but it's just one of those things. I look back now and I'm like, wow, I realized that the market was saturated and I pivoted. I didn't know what any of those words meant, but I realized that what I was doing was something that a lot of other people did. A lot of other people made stuff like this and sold it on Etsy and had an established market. They had reviews, they had customers, they had all that stuff to back them up. And I'm just over here like 18 years old, taking crappy listing photos and trying to sell it too. So anyway, that's how it started, was with these bookmarks. And then around Black Friday of that year, he's my husband now, his name's Nick. And we were looking online and I saw that they were selling like die cutting machines on Black Friday, like a really good deal. And we were like, maybe I can make stickers, because when you're in college, especially like it was like this at ECU, but everybody had stickers on everything, like stickers on your laptop, water bottle, all that stuff. And it was a really popular thing. So I was like, maybe I can make some stickers and sell those. And again, I had never really been entrepreneurial, like in high school or anything, like, so I don't really know where all this came from, but I was wanting to make money. And that picture is the first decal I ever made. It was for my husband's car because he likes to mountain bike. And then there's like a little picture of what the packaging would look like. It was so like intense. My packaging looks nothing like that now. Like I would hand paint those little dots on the top. I would hand write people's names on it, everything. But anyway, I listed decals on Etsy instead of those watercolor prints, and they started selling. And by the end of my freshman year at ECU, I had 500 sales on Etsy.
Wow.
And it was crazy. So clearly that worked. I quickly became known as Sticker Girl around ECU. And at the time, my business was called TDH Design, because my name was Taylor Deanne Hicks. So I took my initials, but the word design after it. And once I got done with my freshman year at ECU, I'd been running all this out of my dorm room. So I would like go to class, come home, make stickers, ship them out or whatever, and stored everything in my dorm. But that summer I had more space because I went back home. So I ended up putting stickers on other objects. So you can see there's wine glasses with like decals on them. I would make gift boxes. And July 2017, I had like $9,000 in sales on Etsy. And that was huge for me. I said, you know what, like maybe there is something more to this. Maybe I can take this like a step further. And I called ECU, changed my major to business, and I started pursuing it was still TH design at the time, started pursuing it as a full-time career. It was something that I thought was going to be like something that just employed me forever. Never thought that it would be anything more than that. But you can see I've got the branding change. So when I decided to pursue it like as a full-time thing, I realized that TH design was not a very good name because it didn't tell anyone what I did. So I spent a lot of time thinking about what I wanted the name of it to be. And I literally just made an Excel sheet with different columns, and I put like nouns and adjectives and like how I try to just like mash them together and see what wasn't already taken. And I came up with simple and sentimental. And I just like, I'm proud of 18-year-old me because like that name has done so well. It's really stuck, and it still does a really good job of explaining what we do, because everything we do falls into that name. And again, I love it. I couldn't be more grateful for the logo design and everything too. I had a graphic designer do it, and I'm really glad that I did. So if you don't have if you're contemplating on getting a graphic designer to do your logo, once you can afford it, I'd highly recommend it. But you can see the other picture is actually at a pitch competition. So Dennis mentioned that I've participated in a lot of pitch competitions in the Greenville area. That was my booth at the Pirate Entrepreneurship Challenge at ECU. And I remember that was the first day that I met anyone from like the College of Business or anything. I didn't know what a pitch was. I was just really excited to be there. I had like a little video playing and I had my pitch ready. I remember I talked to some of the judges after, like months and months after, and they were like, I didn't really know what you were saying. Like, I really didn't understand your business model, but I understood that you were making money and that you needed money to keep growing. And that kind of helped me get to the second round so I could learn more of what I was doing. So I went on and participated in those pitch competitions, and I ended up winning first place. And fun fact, if you look at those checks, they're a day apart. And the reason that is because the left one, where I'm standing with Mike Harris and David Mayo, that's from the Pirate Entrepreneurship Challenge. And then the other one is from the Greenville area pitch competition, which they had encouraged me to enter for practice because I had little experience speaking in front of people. I was really scared of public speaking at the time, and I just didn't have a lot of experience doing it. So they're like, you should go practice your pitch. And I remember, it was like 2 rounds in one night. So you knew that night who was going to win. And when they were calling out the winners, they called out third place, and it wasn't me. They called out second place, and it wasn't me. And then when after they called out second place, I looked at Nick and was like, oh, well, like at least there's tomorrow night. Maybe I'll do good tomorrow night. And ended up winning first place in that one as well. So within 24 hours, we had $18,500 that we used to start hiring employees. We moved into our first office space. So at the time these photos were taken, I was in the Willis building at ECU. They have like little offices that students can use called Greenville Seed. But I was able to move into my first like 500 square foot office space over Technology Enterprise Center. It's across the river. And great resource as well. It's really inexpensive office space, and it is considered like an incubator. So we moved into there and hired employees. So this is December. By the end of that year, you can see I have 10,000 sales on Etsy. So it had quite grown from the previous, I guess I technically started 2 years prior to this. So it had grown quite a bit. And at the time I was selling more like gift boxes. Decals weren't as much of what I sold anymore. It was more so the gift boxes, the tumblers, more of what I sell now. So that's December. And we grew our revenue five times the amount from 2017 to 2018, which was pretty crazy, and much in part due to being able to hire employees and that like push that we got from the capital from those pitch competitions. So February 2019 was a big year. We cut the ribbon in this picture. The person standing to my left is Sarah. She's our first full-time employee, still works here. The other one's my husband. And you can see I even got the chancellor at the time to come to my ribbon cutting. And the mayor's over there too. So that was really cool. It's cool to be in the Greenville area, and in Eastern North Carolina in general. It just seems like people are so supportive. It's really not that hard to get these kind of people who you would think, like if you were in Raleigh, like the Raleigh mayor probably doesn't go to all the ribbon cuttings, but here in Greenville, that's not the case. So that's one thing that I've loved about Eastern North Carolina is the support from the community and the support from large organizations like ECU. So anyway, we cut the ribbon on our first office. We graduated from the incubator and got our own little official space over off of Fire Tower Road if you live in Greenville. And we recently moved out of there. So I'll get to that in a second. But by the end of December, so we went from having just like me and my husband, no full-time employees in 2017, a couple of part-time people, all the way to 5 full-time employees by the end of December, or by the end of 2019. I had just graduated college when I took this picture. I graduated in December of 2019. My husband had graduated in May of 2019, and he actually went and started an engineering job and quit 4 months later to come work at Simple and Sentimental because it had grown so much. So crazy times, but Christmas is our busy time. So that's what we're gearing up for now. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right. So pandemic time. I was so excited for 2020. At the end of 2019, we had grown our revenue like 2 or 3 times the amount we had made in 2018. So I was very excited to see what was going to happen in 2020 and how we were going to continue to grow. And then all of a sudden in January, we started having a harder time getting supplies. We started seeing the supply chain breakdowns long before COVID ever touched the US. And then by March, our sales had grinded to a halt because at the time we were mainly selling wedding products, and weddings had stopped happening, engagements had stopped happening. So all the products that we were like really well known for selling just weren't needed at the time. So we realized, like my husband was in a Facebook group. We have like a laser engraver. And if you have any type of machinery, by the way, I'm in like the Facebook groups for all the types of machinery that I own, and it's so helpful. My employees are in it too, and it's always really good to see like how people use them, and most people are really friendly. So anyway, highly recommend those if you have machinery. But anyway, he saw that someone was using their laser engraver to make face shields, figured out we could do it too, and we ended up raising, gosh, like $8,000 on GoFundMe to make face shields. And we ended up donating over 2,500 face shields to Vidant Medical Center, Spokane, Washington, Elmhurst, New York. We shipped them everywhere. We even sold some. So we really pivoted. I never thought I'd be making medical supplies. But here we were making face shields, and it helped us continue to pay our employees until the PPP kicked in, and it just kind of kept us going, gave us something to do when all the wedding stuff was gone. And then I forgot to put this meme on there. So I listed a gift box that said "Happy Quarantine Birthday" very shortly after the face shield stuff died down. And at first, no one bought it. It was just kind of, I was like, oh, like maybe someone will buy it, like maybe quarantine, like maybe they want to send a gift or something. And at first, no one bought it. And then all of a sudden, like it almost overnight, like it just took off. Like I really can't explain it. We started selling gift boxes that said "Happy Quarantine Birthday," "Happy Quarantine Mother's Day." We did quarantine graduation. We did quarantine everything. And that meme is very accurate for my life for about 40 days between April and June. Me and my husband worked 40 days straight, 14 hours a day. Never worked so hard in my life. We hired about 25 employees in a week to help keep up with the demand, but we couldn't keep up. We were back in that little fire tower office with 2,000 square feet, trying to social distance these people, because a lot of the things that we know now about like 6 feet and masks, that wasn't a thing yet. So we were trying our best and keeping up with these orders. But what was really cool was that we created jobs in a time where a lot of people lost their job. So we were able to provide jobs for people who were furloughed. We were shipping out these gifts, trying to keep up with inventory. It was a wild and crazy time. But what was really cool was that the amount of revenue we made in that time was about the amount we had made in 2019. Just to show scale, it was crazy. And what it really taught us was that the methods we were using to manufacture gift boxes and tumblers was not scalable. And I want to scale my business, like I'm sure a lot of you do. And in this picture, I'm still using vinyl. So like that lid was vinyl, the cup was vinyl. If anyone else has ever worked with vinyl before, it was very hard. And it was very hard to teach people how to do it. It didn't last very long, like years. It would fall off or whatever. So after this occurrence, once the order slowed down a little bit, we used the profit that we made from that season and invested it into printers. So now all of our gift boxes are printed, all of our tumblers are printed, everything. We even do like printed ornaments now, and all of it's top rack dishwasher safe. So we had like this big boom. It was really hard and we made a lot of money, but instead of just like pocketing that, we have constantly reinvested in our business. In the building is another big reinvestment that we did as well. So we're very conscious of reinvesting and growing the company. So by the end of December 2020, we had grown our staff quite a bit. That was like a picture from our little Christmas thing. And we were ready to move out of Fire Tower. But at this point, we had already put in an offer on the building that we're in now. And we're waiting on closing and all of that fun stuff. But here's the picture. So in March of 2021, we moved into the building that we're in right now. We've got 7,000 square feet off of Highway 11 in Ayden. So we are still in Eastern North Carolina, just about 10 minutes away from Fire Tower. And it's been a huge blessing. We have had so much more room to grow and expand, and we've had more room for our machines, and we can really scale now. We were really busting at the seams at the old office. And so that's a little bit about 2021. And then this is the last slide that I have photos for. This is kind of where we're at right now. The biggest thing, and I know Dennis had briefly mentioned working with the military. So we have now surpassed over $10,000. I don't know what the number is, but the amount of money we've donated to the military families. since we started doing these fundraisers about a year ago. Really, like last fall, I think is when we did the first fundraiser. So Simple and Sentimental, in a nutshell, we sell personalized gifts. And we realized that we could do these merchandise fundraisers where we create like apparel, drinkware, ornaments, cutting boards, like all kinds of different gifts and merchandise for different Navy groups. That's the one we've been working with so far. We're hoping to expand to other branches, but you can see in the picture of the soldier coming home, there's a woman wearing a shirt that says the Granite Ghost. So like we made that t-shirt. And what we'll do is we'll create like a page on our website, and for 2 weeks, we'll open up a collection of merchandise that's all made for that boat. So the submarine that's for that picture is the USS New Hampshire, and their nickname for the boat is the Granite Ghost. So we made t-shirts that said that, just like little things that only they know, like kind of, I don't know, inside jokes stuff. I don't know. And anyway, the fundraisers do really well. We donate 15% of the overall revenue from the fundraiser back to the FRG. And you can see we're holding a one for the USS Springfield in this picture. We've also done a few fundraisers for the USS Ronald Reagan, and I think we're about to send them like close to a $3,000 check for their latest fundraiser. So it's been really cool to partner with military families, and they use these funds that we're helping them raise to put on like Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas dinners, things to serve the families while their soldiers are deployed. So it's really cool, and it's definitely something that's helped our business grow because it's mutually beneficial. We're creating jobs here, we're continuing to grow our business, and we're getting to serve the families who really serve in the nation's military. Because like, yes, they're someone in the family is serving, but the family is serving as well, and really making big sacrifices. So that's a little bit on Simple and Sentimental and where we're at right now. We're gearing up for quarter 4 and hoping to just increase this new area of our business when we do fundraising. So that's a little bit about what we do.
Well, fantastic. Well, I think one of the things that jumps out to me, and thank you, Taylor, for that great presentation. One of the things that jumps out at me is Taylor's flexibility. You know, she's learned the buzzwords pivot and so forth, but it's really about survival, and it's about, you know, paying attention to opportunities even when, you know, in the case of COVID, you know, it's kind of hard to imagine a worse scenario where your sales go to zero and everyone is locked up at home. So hats off to Taylor for this ability to move and find new things. And actually the end result is you've continued to grow, and you're growing in the arena that you've invested in. Your machines and your product line is, you know, personalized gifts and personalized stuff. So I just think that's a really good lesson for everyone, in myself and everyone in the class to think about that. You know, are you at a dead end in your current market? Is there something that's causing you to really consider taking a different direction? And here's someone who has pivoted several times in a short period of time. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to open it up to questions, and some questions I'll just throw out. Topics. I think talking about how to best use Etsy. I think how to promote your business and get new customers. Any questions about employees and getting employees and dealing with employees? These are all arenas that I think Taylor's particularly well situated to answer. So with that, let's any questions from the folks? Don't be bashful or I'll call on you. You know I will.
Okay, this is Keisha. So I don't necessarily have a question. I'm just listening to you, though, was so inspirational. I just want you to know that. I sell some similar things that you sell, and it's been tough on Etsy to try to get sales and things of that nature, and try to figure out what people want and need. And really, in just listening to you and your story on how you try the different things and are growing really has helped me as I sat over here. I'm like, okay, well, you know, it's good to see somebody in a similar industry to say, okay, they did it, then it's possible, because even though the market looks oversaturated, it's still possible. So no, I don't have a question necessarily. I'm just thankful. I just want to say thank you, because that was very inspirational to me.
Oh, very nice, Keisha. Thank you for that. That's sweet. Taylor, by the way, Keisha also works at ECU.
Okay.
For about 20 years. I believe you registrar or something like that, Keisha? I can't remember.
No, I actually work in human resources.
I knew it was something big and important.
No.
I'm going to call on John Arnold. John actually deals with a lot of consumers, and he actually a lot of distributors, or what I would consider salespeople. John, what do you think?
Yeah, first of all, Taylor, that was an excellent presentation. I really am very sincerely proud of you for what you've accomplished in your few years. You've got a bright future ahead of you. One thing I was wondering about, you talked a fair amount about Etsy. Are you using any other platforms, Amazon, eBay, any of those? I was curious.
My main focus right now is actually my website. So we did consider going on Amazon. Amazon does have a handmade program because we still fall under the handmade category, which is why we're on Etsy. But as someone who has experienced the good, bad, and ugly of Etsy, I kind of caution against it in the sense that third-party platforms are dangerous. And if you put all your eggs in that basket and you're making lots of money in that basket, and all of a sudden they decide they want to change something, you are at their mercy. So, for example, last year, Etsy decided that they were going to start taking 15%
Wow.
of the, so like, like how with Google ads. So Etsy runs Google ads on behalf of Etsy shop owners like myself. They don't ask me, they just do it. And if someone clicks and orders a gift box or something through one of those Google ads that's run by Etsy, they take 15% of that sale. And I can't opt out of it. If I could, I would. I
Wow.
do not care about selling a gift box and having to give 15% of it to
I
Etsy.
can see why.
So that's my word of the wise. But like at the same time, there's lots of opportunity to make money on Etsy and Amazon. I still have an Etsy account and it still does generate a good portion of my revenue. But my overall primary objective from here until it happens is getting my other sales up. And 2021 has been the year of that. Constantly looking for ways like how can we generate money outside of Etsy? The fundraisers is one. Corporate sales. So we're looking for businesses like we work with ECU a lot, for example, doing some gift boxes for them. How can we find customers outside of Etsy, and how can we get the most bang for our buck when it comes to spending time on orders? Because a lot of our Etsy stuff is one-off transactions. So we'll do one ornament, one cake plate, one whatever. And Etsy's fees are piling. So we're trying to figure out how can we recruit those customers to be our own through our own website where we have access to we own their information, we own the email, we can send out emails to them if we want to, where Etsy you can't do that. So there's money to be made on third-party platforms. I'm not saying that there's not. And I do think that it's a good thing to pursue early in your business because a lot of times it's quick money. So like for me, Etsy was what I started with. I didn't have my own website for a long time, but as you grow, like I'm a top 1% Etsy seller in the world or whatever. And yes, it makes money, but it will hurt you if you don't start building your own audience early on.
Very good. Very good. Great job. Thank you.
All right, Ruth Taylor, any questions for you? Ruth has Mrs. Ruth's Jams, which is quite a popular jam company in North Carolina.
So first, thank you so much. That was a great presentation and you've just done a wonderful job. I really like the idea of these military things that you're doing, the kind of the gift thing that would lend itself well to my business. So what are you doing with that, and how did you gain traction with it?
Well, this is something I've learned over and over again in business is that connections really do seem to be the big, I guess, the thing that pushes forward. So like I said, I went to ECU that freshman year when I stayed in the dorm. I had an RA named Liz and I befriended her, and she graduated from ECU and married a sailor and ended up on the board of the FRG, which in every branch calls it something different. But in the Navy, the FRG is the wives, the spouses, the family members of the person who's on the boat. And they do like little fundraising events, like the ones that we help them with. And then they use that money to put on other events for their families. And she called me one day and was like, Taylor, I am trying to do a fundraiser for merchandise and all the options suck. I'm going to Custom Ink and they have bad customer service and bad quality. I tried this other business that specializes in submarine fundraisers and they won't work with me. Their designs are ugly, like all this stuff. Can you please help me? I know you do some of this kind of thing. And I reluctantly said yes because she was my friend and I wanted to help her, but it seemed like so much work. I was like, this is so much work. Like, this is even going to be worth it for me. And did it, and it went really well. It was their best fundraiser ever, and other boats started finding out. So she's in Norfolk, and then I've got another one in Hawaii who was our second one that we did, and she had like a far better fundraiser than the one in Norfolk, but it was her best fundraiser ever. And then all of a sudden, one in Spain and one in Japan, and it piled up because of word of mouth. Got around because these military wives are like a tight knit group. I'm telling you, a lot of our fundraisers now come from like Facebook groups. Like someone who we do a fundraiser with will post in this Facebook group and say like, I love Simple and Sentimental. You should do your fundraiser with them. And then we get fundraisers from that. So referrals are great. But when it comes to the military, it's a very specific niche to do the fundraising, to the merchandise fundraising. And I will say, unless you have a very wide variety of products, it can be really hard to make a lot of money at it. Because we do like the t-shirts and tumblers and we have a wide product line, so we can create almost like a collection for them. There's something for everyone, and people can spend like $500 buying whatever it is. So if you can find something where you can get those bigger orders that are like $500 worth of merch or whatever, that seems to yield really well. And also the military is really hard to crack into. I'm sure Dennis, Scott Barker could be someone good to connect the group with if he's not already been connected. He was really helpful in getting like the sam.gov stuff set up. That way you can see military contracts and start getting approved and things like that. But in Eastern North Carolina, we do have so many different military bases that you can just try to break your way into. And the military seems to be one of those things where once you get your foot in the door with one person, it's much easier to multiply. Like, for example, we're in with the Navy, but we are still struggling to get in with any of the other branches because getting that first foot in is really hard. I don't know if that answered the question or not, but
Well, yes,
that's kind of what we're working with.
it does. And it's really cool because I stumbled into this and didn't realize what I was into. I do personalized jars.
Okay.
And so I had it was an order, not a huge order, but this lady was running a reunion for one of the groups, and I personalized jars for them. And that's really, so you've given me something I need to explore. I did it and didn't know what I had. So thank you so much.
Yeah, based on what you just said, it sounds like a better fit would be those events. And I will say one thing that I've learned about the Army, I'm really good. One of my best friends is an Army commander, and she is in recruiting. And apparently and I don't know if anyone else here has served. If so, thank you for your service. I don't know a lot of people that have served before I met her. And I've been learning a lot about the traditions and the values in the Army specifically. And retirement is really big for them. And there's some other things that are really important to them that they celebrate where they have large gatherings. So jams could be something like, if you're doing the personalized jars, could be something cool to like push to them if you can get in with the right people who do these retirement celebrations. Because she was telling me that they'll spend like hundreds of dollars on gifts just to tell some, like if they get promoted or that there's some other like little celebrations that they do. I was really honestly surprised at the number of things she goes to like every month, like celebrating someone leaving or something along that.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Taylor, do you ever put together packages from other vendors other than yourself for your things? Do you ever look for partners or?
I do have other partners. So we've got a woman in Georgia who owns it's called Kate & Co. She owns a company that makes bath bombs and shower steamers. So I put a lot of those in our gift boxes. The struggle with food, I love food, but it goes bad. And bath bombs don't really go bad. I mean, they do after like a long time, but they have a really good shelf life. So that's the main struggle when it comes to gift boxes, is that we have to find something that has a really good shelf life if we want to stock it. Otherwise, it has to be a like client requested thing. So like if the client was like, I want jam, now I know who to call. But it would have to be like client requested it. Because if we were to offer it in a gift box or something, we have such a fast turnaround time. So like if you order a gift box from Simple and Sentimental tonight, it will ship out tomorrow. And that can be a really quick turnaround time and a pain point for a lot of vendors. Like if we're not keeping it in stock ourselves, we're not able to get it quick enough to fulfill the orders and maintain customer expectations.
Okay, good to know. Any other questions from folks? Chaim, you're in the candy business. I know that's a little bit of gift oriented stuff. Is that right?
It is. It is as we move into the holidays, and the nuts have a really good shelf life. But no, thank you for this presentation. I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's been very informative and helpful. There's a lot of things that just wouldn't come up in regular thinking in my little brain anyway. But I'm not so much into the military per se, but the fundraisers was absolutely excellent. And I've got some connections that potentially be a very good resource for that outfit there. The rest of it, the other questions that popped to mind have already been answered. John brought up the one, and then certainly Ruth as well. But so nothing else off the top of my mind other than get out here and beat the bush and be flexible enough to make it work, whatever it takes to get it done.
Absolutely. All right. Well, yeah. Anyone else have any questions they want to spring on us now?
I do. So Taylor, are you still with Etsy?
Yes. Yeah, we are still doing Etsy. It makes a lot of money, but it is not something that I'm I'm leaning on. I guess I'm trying to not lean on it. I want it to be something where if it cut off tomorrow, I wouldn't be out of luck.
Okay, so you're doing other things other than Etsy. Okay, I just wondered if you had some sort of plan to escape that or just continue using it.
I do think we will continue. We will probably always continue to use it because I think there are some of our customers that just start on Etsy. That's where they don't even bother with Google. They just go to Etsy and start looking for their handmade stuff. Because we have even found some corporate clients through Etsy, and then we process their order on a different platform, which you're not supposed to do. But when it comes to like a $10,000 order, I'm not running this through Etsy's fees.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, I would say the strategy is really looking for clients and customers outside of Etsy. That involves like beefing up the SEO on websites. We have a few different websites. We've got kind of a multi-website strategy, if you will. We have a business that can make so many different things and go in so many different directions that it's best to have different websites that are very niche. So like, for example, we just launched a cake topper website. So it just has cake toppers and cake plaques and stuff on it because we realized how many customers on our Etsy shop were just ordering cake stuff. I've got one woman who every other week, she orders like a bunch of cake stuff, and she's like a baker in Texas or something. And we've got like hundreds of those. So we created our own website just for them. And we're slowly growing that and trying to fulfill that need. But just looking at our clients and figuring out that like, okay, we've got a business that can serve so many different people, and having unique websites that target those other people like them that are on Google, like Googling cake topper. If I have a website that's celebratecaketoppers.com, the URL having the word cake topper in it alone will make it show up higher on Google just because it has that same keyword in it, where simplesentimental.com could be anything. It's not necessarily about cake toppers, even though I might jam pack the page with the word cake topper. The domain authority of just having a whole website where all it talks about is cake toppers, where on Simple and Sentimental, it talks about a lot of different things. So we're trying to get more specific and niche, and hoping that will be part of our strategy to get off of Etsy or be less reliant.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. One of the things I was going to say is, since I was in the military, my wife, I've since retired, but my wife is very involved with a bunch of women on the base,
Okay.
the Air Force base over there at Seymour Johnson. But a lot of the things that I see that work well for them are those direct marketing type of things, like Pampered Chef and the fingernail one and all those others. Those do well, especially like with overseas bases, because that's something that the spouses can do without having to like go off base and earn their money. So if we all want to do military stuff, that's a thought to go into.
Yeah.
With that.
Honestly, if you wouldn't mind connecting me with your wife, the Air Force is one that we've also struggled to get in with. So if she has any connections, I would so appreciate it. If anyone else does, again, I can drop my email in here too.
Yeah,
And you don't just have to give me your ask me any questions or anything if anyone's got questions.
yeah,
This is my email.
sure to, put your contact information in our little group thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she just put it in the chat also, so you guys can grab it there. One thing that I do want to kind of point out, Taylor is in a situation where she is kind of beyond the pure startup phase. She started off in her dorm room and started off in Etsy and built her sales on Etsy, from the get-go. And some of you may well benefit from a similar idea, whether it's Etsy or Amazon or some other platform. It's good to have Taylor's problem, and that is so much business that you want to move it to your own platform. That's fine, and I think that's smart. But at the same time, some of you really could benefit from the traffic that some of these platforms can bring, because realistically, when you're just starting out, it's very hard to get people to find your website or your app or whatever. So even though Taylor has I quote, a good problem in the sense that she wants to pivot to her own website, this is not uncommon, and is something that I encourage everybody here. If you do need that initial kick, some of these third-party platforms may well be right for you. At the same time, I'm constantly preaching Shopify, and Warren Allen is one of our favorites, and he works with Taylor. He's really good at Google-related stuff. So we can help you no matter which direction you go. But I don't want you to get the impression that in some ways it's a mistake to try a third-party platform. I would argue that it just depends on where you are in your business development and whether that makes sense or not for you. Wouldn't you agree, Taylor?
I would completely agree. I would just say if I was to go back and do it again, I would still do Etsy. It's not that I wouldn't do it, but I would make earlier efforts on to direct more people to my website instead of directing them to Etsy. Like, for example, I used to direct like all of our social media stuff to Etsy. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's a useful platform. Amazon, in my personal experience, seems to be a lot more expensive to start with, where Etsy is very inexpensive to start with. Because Amazon, like if you want to do Amazon Prime, you've got to pay for the storage space in Amazon warehouses and restocking and all this crazy stuff that you don't have to pay for on Etsy. So if you have a handmade product, Etsy is a great platform for it. They've really marketed themselves as the place to find handmade stuff, where Amazon, you pretty much have to do Prime. Like I personally do not like, and I know from my own like research, when you go on Amazon, you're looking for something to turn around in 1 to 2 days. Where Etsy, yes, they expect it quickly, but they don't expect it that fast. So you got a little bit more leeway, and it's cheaper if you're debating between Etsy or Amazon.
Yeah. All right. Well, any other questions before we let Taylor get back to her preparations for the fourth quarter? And it's a busy time. And anyone else going once? Okay. Well, Taylor, well, thank you once again for your wonderful insights and your authentic sharing of experience as an entrepreneur. And even though you feel like you don't know all the buzzwords, you're number one in my book. You do a great job, and your willingness to share your insights and information is going to help us all grow our ecosystem, our e-commerce ecosystem in Eastern North Carolina. So hats off to you, girl. Thank you very much. And
thank you guys so much for having me. I really wish everyone the best and encourage you to reach out if you have any questions or anything. Happy to help.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
All right,
Taylor.
everybody, that's it for today. We'll see you next Monday when we have our export conversation from the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina. They're going to convince you all to sell in Mexico and Canada and China, God knows where else. So see everyone on Monday. Thank you.